Ba, 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 ba. Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. Can you hear me? Everybody. Real hi-fi help. What are you guys doing on a Friday evening? What do audiophiles do on Friday evenings? Well, hopefully they hang out with me. Let's talk. Let's chat. What do you guys got for me? Oh, I got this all jacked up. I recently made some changes to my setup here, and so I'm a little unorganized. Real hi-fi help. How are you doing? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Haha, there we go. I was getting nervous. I'm doing well. I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. What's the what's the latest thing you've been talking about on your channel? Real hi-fi help. What's actually let's do one better. Tell me about your rig. I want to know what you got rocking and rolling. Tell me about what you've got rocking and rolling. I'm curious. I've only watched a couple of your channels. I don't like to BS people and say, "Yeah, I've seen all your videos." No, I haven't. I've seen a couple of them, but I'm curious what you have. You tackle some cool topics. Cool topics. Stuff that a lot of people would be afraid to talk about. Like, you know, do things like routers and things like that make a difference when it comes to streaming? Not a lot of people tackling those topics. No way. No way. Third era in the house. Corey in the house. Richard in the house. Robin in the house. Evening all. Good evening. It is Friday. We made it. John Sweeta. Yes. I'm getting your comments. Yes. I saw your comment about the royalty free music. Yes. Calm down. Okay. Yes. I haven't had a chance. I just did the videos today. I haven't had a chance. Bear with me. Roar of the tiger. Roar of the tiger. Real hi-fi help. I have an Audio Note Level 3 system, auto amplifier, Audio Note DAC 4, Audio Note ANE speaker. That is awesome. That's cool. Very cool. My dad just picked up some older KEF Audio QC1 and QCTC separates, trying to get him dialed in. That is awesome. That is awesome. Is this third era? I'm curious. Is this the first time that your dad has like considered getting into hi-fi or kind of checking out hi-fi? Is this the first time doing that? What's new with Ron? Um, it's been kind of a light week. It hasn't been too crazy. I've been Working on these JBL HDI 3600s. I did sound clips with commentary for those. They're not bad, but you know what bugs me? Um, what bugs me is I hate that I have to say not bad for $4,000 speakers. I think that for $4,000, it needs to be more than, pretty good. You don't reply. I don't even if it's a thumbs up music break. You're talking about getting music break is good quality. Okay, John, I will check it out. I'll check it out. I haven't had a chance. Yes, Benny K's bandwidth in the house. Hello, Ron, my friend. I hate that Arizona is already getting hot. Me too. My beautiful wife just took the kiddos. I feel like being let's go a little dark tonight. Let's just be a little moody. Um, Took the kiddos to the park, and I'm like, well, I'm going to go live because it's Friday and audiophiles are allergic to parks. So we're going to go live instead. Future owner of NXtreme, thanks to you. Chatted with Danny the other day. Jeff, congratulations. Dude, I wish I wish I wish I would have gotten the NXtremes. At the time where I pulled the trigger on the NX Auticas, I could have gotten the NXtremes. It wasn't that much more. And it is really one of my biggest regrets. I'm like, why? Why didn't I just get the NXtremes? Why? John Sweet, I don't like the camera on your head, makes me feel dizzy. Well, I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. I decided to do something a little different. It's a GoPro. I've never tried one before. It's my first take, my first try. I will work on it. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can get a little bit better. I also felt like I was, I turn on. It has image stabilization. I enabled that, and when I was looking at footage, it seemed like it was good. But then when I rendered it, I was like, it seems like it's moving around a lot more than what I thought. So I'll work on it. John Nixon, thanks. I'm liking the new mic setups. Yeah, I've been exploring sound clips and trying some different things, and it's been a lot of fun. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hang on a second. I gotta fix my camera. My framing is awful. Oh, I feel so much better now. Okay. Ron, is JBL speakers you reviewed the secret speakers? No. No, they are not. The JBL speakers I am allowed to talk about, they are not the secret speakers. Hello, any plans on reviewing the JBL HDI 1600s? I would like to, Chris. We'll see how this goes. The HDI 3600s, that was sent directly from Harman, so I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to do the 1600s. The way this typically goes is like this. I do the review, I send it back, I give them an honest review. I cross my fingers that they're okay with what I have to say about their speakers, and then usually the relationship continues. It's unfortunate that it sometimes goes that way. It's unfortunate that it's like, I want to be honest. We can all be cool about this, right? You know. Building the studios first, though. That's a good idea, Jeff. Hey, give me a buzz if you need any help. Because I did the Exoticas, I can help you like with if you have questions, if you want to do veneer like I did on the sides, just reach out. Let me know. I'm happy to help you out. Don't watch Z reviews if you don't like the head cams. Yeah, I did a GoPro video today, and it was my first time using a GoPro. It was interesting. It wasn't my best work. I wasn't planning on it. I was just like, you know what? I'm going to just make a video and we're just going to throw it out there. And the purpose of the video is really to listen to, it's called ambisonics. It's a a style of recording that uses 4 mic capsules. And I gotta say, I like it quite a bit. It was a bit bass heavy. I was waiting for people to say, "Hey, the bass seems a little bit baked," and I'm like, "You're right. It is. It is a little bit baked." But I want to mess around with it and see what I can do. Chris Allen, also, I use Lot's technique. Oh, I didn't want to ask because I didn't want to be that guy, but thank goodness that you use Lots. That is awesome. I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of that video. And I think next year I'm going to do Lots 2.0. I'm going to update the video. I'm going to get it perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just pause for just a moment and ponder the brilliance of Cheap Audio Man. And no, not just because he gave me 20 bucks. Randy, that's 5 weeks of, generic 50-pound bags of cereal for the kids. So thank you, good sir. Thank you. I appreciate you. Real Hi-Fi Help. How would you describe the high fidelity cable sound? You made a video about that way back. I want to revisit cables in a different way than I did in the past. And I know that I've learned a lot since then, and it would be interesting to try them again. It's been so long, and my system has changed so much. I don't know, but I will not deny what I experienced at that time, which was it was a profound difference in terms of, clarity. I'm convinced that I heard, and not just me, but like I gave it to, one of my friends who doesn't believe that cables make a difference at all. And I didn't, I was just like, just try them, see what you think. And he texted me that night. He's like, dude, this is doing something. This is pretty impressive. So I don't know, man. It's been so long. It's been like 6 years, 5 or 6 years. It's been a long time. Cheap Audio Man, have you tried cauliflower pizza crust? Yes. We do get cauliflower pizza crust from Trader Joe's. And the trick to it is don't try to make it like what you know about pizza. And what I mean by that is I love to cook. So here's what you do. You go and get yourself steak, okay? And you cook it up medium rare because we're not communists here at New Record Day. You cook it up medium rare. You slice it up, relatively thin. You lay down some, roasted red pepper sauce on the cauliflower crust after you're done cooking it. Throw the steak on there. Throw some arugula on there. Sprinkle on some feta cheese. And then you drizzle it with balsamic vinegar. And then you eat the whole thing. And then you give the kids macaroni and cheese. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. Cheap Audio Man. Thank you for asking. All righty. Let's take a look here. When are these secret speakers going to be unveiled? Unveiled? Dale Cook is asking about the secret speakers. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to redo sound clips because I wasn't happy with how those sound clips turned out. I'm going to redo sound clips with the new mics that I have. We're going to do it all over again, and they will be unveiled mid-March to late March. I think the date is like late March. I don't remember the exact date. You were saying buzzing from your panels on the wall, put some rubber door stops behind them and lift them away from the wall. Yeah, they are pulled away from the wall, John. And the reason why I'm not doing like a fix for them is I'm getting ready to change all the treatment in that room. It's going to be expanded and a bit more serious. And I will take you guys along for the ride when I do that. Da, 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 da. Does anyone know offhand if YouTube natively outputs 44.1 or 48? The answer is 48. I'm setting my Windows shared setting and would prefer my YouTube output not to get resampled. Yeah, it's 48. Just a little help there. Are your sound clips best enjoyed on really neutral headphones or doesn't it matter? James, I use these Grado, pardon me, Meze 99 Classics, but I also use Grado SR80Es. Those are my old standby. Those are the two headphones that I use and that I recommend. If you want to hear what I'm hearing, then those would be the headphones that I use. Hello from the Philippines, Chuck. Welcome aboard, my friend. Andrew Jones announced yesterday that the higher end Unify will be released in a couple of months. Yay! I'm excited. I hope I get a pair to play with. And I hope Randy. Actually, you know what? More than anybody, I want Randy to review those. Even if it means I don't get a pair and Randy gets my pair or a pair before me, I would love it. I would love it if Randy led the charge on that because Cheap Audio Man, you have earned it, my friend. You have earned it. Dutch and Dutch 8C speakers. I've never reached out to Dutch and Dutch. I would be interested in doing so. Do you still use your Anthony Gallo speakers at all? No, I do not because I sold them. They are gone. They've been gone for a long time. I regret it, if that tells you anything. For a first experiment with your GoPro, your video that showed your listening room was fine. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Robin. I appreciate it. I'll work on it. I'll get that down. It was my first try, so I'll work on it. I'll get it better and better. Ron, that thumbnail for tonight's live cast was epic. I'm glad. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Focal 906. You know, the only focals that I've heard at the shows to me seem to be a little bit, wow, you got some zip on top. You're trying to get my attention, and it's annoying. A lot of the focal stuff I've heard, it's a bit bright, in my opinion. If you're a detail freak, yeah, you can move in that direction if you want. All right, let's take a look here. I'm a communist. David, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. I would encourage you to try medium rare meat. You know, just give it a go. Don't cook your meat well done. It's a bad idea. What products are you going with when you redo your room treatments? Jeff, that's a great question. I'm using a bunch of diffusers from Pi Audio Group, and they are made out of styrofoam. And I don't know how I feel about that because I think, knowing what I know about room acoustics and doing the research that I've done on room acoustics, styrofoam can diffuse frequencies, but it also absorbs some frequencies. And so I don't know how that's going to pan out. It's an experiment, and you guys will be along for the ride. So I'll tell you whether or not it's worth the trouble. I'll let you know. Are the cookies best medium rare as well? Absolutely not. Raw cookie dough is yucky, and I like my cookies crunchy on the outside and chewy in the middle. That's how I like my cookies and chocolate chip cookies. I met Michael Gerzon, Ambiasonics, at AES convention back in 1986. Michael was, wow, that is freaking awesome. Roar of the Tiger. That is really cool. Ambisonics is really fascinating stuff. It's really interesting. Really interesting. What are my top 3 turntables under 1750 best all around? Thanks. I would be moving in the direction of a used VPI Classic. Probably my favorite turntable of all time, that I've tried, but have I tried them all? No. No. But the Classic, which I have one, it's actually at my brother's house, is just a mind-bending good turntable. Very good. I like the Rega stuff, or Riga, however you pronounce it, a lot. I think it's awesome. So, that would be something that, you might want to consider as well. And I think for that price, 1750, you could go up the ladder quite a way. What you guys let me know for cruising RSX, what kind of a Riga or Rega can you get for 1750 nowadays? Hey Ron, if you are placing a downfiring subwoofer on carpet, would you put a wooden plinth under the subwoofer? Do you feel it would help with the sonics of the subwoofer? Ryan, I would try it. You got to experiment with those things. But I don't think that there would be a need to do that because you have to understand you're dealing with sound pressure, right? And you're dealing with long wavelengths. So that short of a distance, I don't think that's going to make a huge impact on what you're hearing, but I could be wrong. You just need to experiment. You need to experiment. I love to experiment with subs. I usually do all kinds of weird stuff that you shouldn't do. And then I find out why you shouldn't do it. And I'm like, yeah, they were right. You shouldn't do that with a sub. That's a terrible idea. Um, and then sometimes I just crank it up and try to shake off Sarah's clothes. And that's pretty fun. I wouldn't encourage you to shake off Sarah's clothes because that would be rather upsetting for me, but shake off somebody's clothes, just not my wife's. That's what I would do with a sub. It's fun. It's fun. It's good fun. Pop, ba, pop. Cheap. Oh, somebody's asking Cheap Audio Man a question. Did you end up taking that drive to Danny's house to experience his setup? I don't think that Randy has been to Danny's house yet. I think he would have told me that. I really like your review of the Bifrost 2. Only problem is now trying to decide if I want to upgrade from my Modi multi-bit. I appreciate you saying that. That wasn't my favorite review that I've done of a DAC. I think I could have done a little bit better job of trying to flesh that out. But it's one of the first DACs that I really started spending time with, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better in a short amount of time. But the Bifrost 2 is a fantastic sounding DAC. It's smooth for sure. It seems to just shave off a lot of those sharp edges in the music, and I like that quite a bit. And it does sound quite analogish. So it's a good DAC. It's a really good DAC, especially for the money. It's a very good DAC. So yeah. Looking into GIK. Yeah, I have a lot of the GIK products right now in the room. I've got the Impression Series panels, and they're fine. And then I've got some tri-traps, and I've got a bunch of stuff in the garage that's going to be used again when I set everything up again. So I'm excited. It'll be fun. JMT Enthusiast says, I tried the Unify 2.0. OMG, loved the vocals, cello, trumpets, everything. Couldn't stop listening. I'm almost addicted, but not enough sparkle for me. Got another suggestion for me. JMT, I have a question for you. Where do you have those babies pointing? Have you tried not at, if you want to put them at your ears, go for it, but just on the outside of your shoulders? And if you've tried that, if yes, you have you tried crossing the streams? Let me know. Let me know. Ron, when you demoed the LS50 Metas, did you try the NAD-M10? I wish I did, but I do not have the NAD-M10 any longer. I wish I still had it, because that would definitely be a combo that I would try. I will say this, having spent time with both and having a pretty good idea of how they both perform, Dan, I think that would be a fine pairing. That would be a fine choice. It would be good. Make more headphone reviews. Okay, I will make more headphone reviews. I will do that. So those Holo audio products you teased earlier, is that a power amp and power supply? Ace of Spades is asking. Well, kind of no. Kind of no. He's talking about this guy. This is indeed a power supply. Oh. And then he's talking about this guy. And this is a phono stage. So I now have on my I now have on the menu Kitsune, Holo Audio Kitsune, phono preamp. So maybe we'll actually get back to New Record Day and start spinning some turntables, for crying out loud. It's been a while. So that'll be fun. Do you have a suggestion for recommending a DAC somewhere between the price of a Bifrost and the $5,000 DACs that you reviewed? Not yet. Not yet, Jeff. I'm working in that direction because I feel like I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. It's like, man, you've done this, and then you've done this. What about somewhere in here? So I'm going to work on that. I'll see what I can do. I do have the Spring 3 DAC, no, Spring 2 DAC, excuse me, that a viewer sent in. You can find those used, and they're pretty reasonable, and they're freakishly good. So that might be something you would want to take a look at. I'm trying to give you a nod in a good direction, and that is a definite good direction to consider. All right, Ron, do you have all your equipment on the room opposite of your listening room now and have the speaker wires through the wall? Talent MDS is asking. So I'm in our bedroom right now. This is the corner of our bedroom. Our bed is right there. And behind me is that blank wall on the right-hand side of the listening room. And the speaker wires do indeed go through the wall. So all the gear is here, and then I'm always changing stuff around. I've got gear all over the place to where I can just, be a mad scientist and change things up and try different things. So yes, the answer is yes to your question. We have been playing with our two REL T7i subs in stereo by putting them on different dining and kitchen chairs rather than on the floor. Definite improvements for us. Different chairs make a difference. Brian, I believe you. I want to start the conversation by saying that, but I would want to ask a question. Are the chairs different heights? And do you think are they positioned in the same spot or different spots? Because you got to take those things into consideration as well. I'd be curious to find out, but I like the fact that you are experimenting, doing weird stuff with subs. That's awesome. All right, and then we have John Sweeta. You can't use diffuser from a manufacturer. That's not how it works. You need quadratic. Okay, John. So they are quadratic diffusers, designed for your space, designed for measurements. They are quadratic diffusers, and they're 7 squared quadratic diffusers. I already did They're gonna be fine. It'll be okay, John. It'll be okay. Breathe, buddy. Breathe. Did you see Andrew Robinson's review of the LTA Z10 integrated amp? Seemed like he liked it, but felt it was limited to only certain genres of music. Any comments about that? Well, that's interesting. I guess my first question would be is what speakers was he pairing the LTA Z10 with? And what was he not getting out of the LTA Z10? I mean, physics is always going to show up when you're dealing with, so many watts, and you have to take that into consideration. I think that pairing is critical. The LTA Z10 with something like the Sapphires is, well, you guys saw the review and you guys heard the sound clip, so you tell me. I mean, it's very good. It's very good. Suggestion, Ron, you may want to check Audioholic's latest video. Diffusers in general are covered, plus the styrofoam ones you mentioned as well. They specify the frequencies affected. That is great to know. I will check into that. I will take a look. I'll be happy to. That's awesome. Am I still into vinyl? Yes, I am. I have the Pure Audio Project Quad 15 Super Wicked. Ed G, that is awesome. I'm glad you're happy with those. Let's just take a look here. I crossed the streams and pointed at my ears. I'm missing the brushes on the snare. A little too subdued for me. What do you think? I have a treated room, REW2. Man, I'm really blown away that those are not giving you the top end that you're looking for, JMT enthusiast. From where you're at, where do you go from there? So here's the conundrum. JMT enthusiast has a pair of the Unify 2.0s, and he feels like he's not getting the clarity in the top end out of them that he was hoping for. What would you guys recommend? Where would he go from there? Because I feel like you're going to start moving in the direction of an elevated top end if you feel like our straight shooter, which a Unify 2.0 is, it's a straight shooter. If that's not giving you the goods, then we might want to start lifting that up a little bit. So throw out some ideas. The Bro 3s come to mind. They do have a little bit of a tilted top end. Might want to give that a shot. Maybe, but I don't think it's as good of a speaker as the 2.0s. I have them both, and I haven't reviewed the Bro 3s yet. They're in for review. They're not as good as the 2.0s, but they're good, and they do have a bit of a rise in the response. So, yeah. Let's just take a look here. VPI have motor stability problems of control units, so not very good. No, they don't, John. Blanket statements like that don't work around here, and I'm being serious. No, they don't. Okay. I've had a few VPIs in, and I've checked them out. There's no issues for all VPI products. That's a bunch of hogwash. Knock it off. I'm serious. Knock it off. It's not true. Let's just take a look here. Since I started watching NRD, my chest has grown luscious, and the girls are saying hi back to me. You're welcome. You're welcome. That's what happens. That's what happens. I hear it all the time. I just bought a Darlington Labs MM5 phono preamp, exceptional for the cost. That is awesome. I've never even heard of that phono. That's interesting. That's cool. It's like publicly thank you for not reviewing manufacturer's gear, but also do it yourself regards to, yeah, I love doing the do it yourself stuff. And I have had a huge desire to get into like do it yourself amps and preamps and things like that. I think I would probably start with like a tube amp. I have a good friend Eric that just lives down the road, and he could probably help me knock out something, without me blowing myself up. So yeah, totally. That's going to be the new audiophile question. What kind of chair are you using? That is hilarious. Ron, did your room dynamics change a bit after you removed the equipment out of your room? Yes, a lot. Big changes. So I did have the racks in the back corners. I had 2 racks, and then I had 2 big shelves stock full of stuff and records. And when I removed it all, I got quite a bit of slapback echo back there. But here's the thing. I want to talk about this for a minute because I learned something from an actual acoustician. And he's like, don't panic. Don't panic. Here's what you need to do. If you go back to that spot and you start clapping your hands and you can hear all those echoes and things like that, okay, you're not done. What you now need to do is go and sit at the listening position and then have somebody go over there, clap their hands. Do you hear the echo? Yes, I do, but it's nowhere near as bad as when I was over there. You're not hearing. So where you are sitting is where you need to be judging things. That's the point of this. And that was from an actual acoustician, like a real one, not a YouTube. I'm an engineer. It's amazing how many engineers are on YouTube. You guys ever notice that? They're all hanging out on YouTube. Every video I do, I've got all these engineers at my expo. Just, hey, man, I'm an engineer and you're right. Or, hey, I'm an engineer and you're totally wrong. It's amazing. I guess they're just not busy making things. In any event, the point is, if you have some slapback echo, it's actually the easiest thing to tame because you're dealing with top end extensions. So just getting some kind of absorption is going to knock that out, and that's what the plan of attack is when I start using these quadratic diffusers that are made out of styrofoam. And I'm skeptical as to how good they're going to be, but we're going to do it. We're going to try. John, that's a great question. Why don't you get the new shit turntable? It looks interesting. I agree. I have asked for it like a million times, and I think I might be getting it in finally. Possibly. Hold on one second, guys. All right. Your Hegel review was lots of fun to watch. What happened to take one? What happened is I'm a dodo brain, and I have doing like live streams, especially with somebody that is really far away. It can be a little bit complex. You're dealing with bandwidth issues and things like that. And I messed up the settings on my end to where when Anders would talk, it would just keep repeating over and over and over again. And I'm like, whoa, this is broken. And I didn't know until we were done. Like while I was monitoring it, it was fine. And I listened back to it. And I'm like, no, no, it was not good. So it was a bit of a mess. It was a bit of a mess. My chest hair has grown too since NRD. I now look like John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever. There you go. And who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want that? That's my question. That's the question that I'm asking tonight. Ron, have you ever reviewed the Parasound Hint 6? Been eyeing this integrated for a while and trying to get more opinions on it. CJ, I haven't. I forget what iteration of the Hint that I reviewed, but it was a fine machine and it did a lot of really cool things for the money. That's what I liked about it. Is I felt like it was a smart Swiss Army knife, and it sounded good. It was a good sounding integrated amplifier. Austin A, we've got a super chat. Thank you so much, Austin. I appreciate it. How does the Wilson Sabrina stack up now that you heard many more speakers since then? Any plans on Toontots or Sabrina X? I would be thrilled to review either of those. Sabrina was an experience. Everything in that in the old house compared to what I've listened to in this home, I would love to just try it all over again. And like you said, like I've got a bit more room and a bit more real estate. So I wonder what a Sabrina review would be like now. So I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out, see what we can do. How does it stack up? It does. It does stack up. That is that is a beautiful sounding loudspeaker. It's a lot of fun. And man, it hits like a sledgehammer. And the mid-range is, man, it just punches through the mix like crazy. That is just one of the most enjoyable loudspeakers to just sit back and just, yeah, we've got rock and roll. It's just great. It's just man, what a powerhouse of a loudspeaker. Love Sabrina. Whoa, are those wood-faced power amps? No, they are wood-faced. Dodd Audio battery powered DAC and phono preamp. And I would consider those collector items at this point. They're no longer made. Gary Dodd, rest in peace. He passed away. And these particular pieces are very difficult. Only a small handful of those out there. And I waited patiently until I got my hands on them, and they're mine. They're mine. I own those, and I'll eventually get around to talking about them. Let's just take a look here. Yeah, daddy job calls. Yeah, my wife just got back from the park, and the kiddos are a little bit crazy, so I may need to jump out of here if it escalates from where it's at right now. Couple of cries every now and then. I want to be mindful to her. So I'll let you know. In your Hegel H390 review, don't pass over Rune to AirPlay. I find USB sounds inherently broken by comparison. Hegel's AirPlay implementation is brilliant. Can't wait to hear your impressions. Eric, that's interesting. I will definitely do exactly that. Let's just take a look here. What are your thoughts on single driver speakers, Omega Pearl acoustics? I used to be a bit more of a fan of wideband drivers than I am now. I think they're fine. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with them. They're just not my thing these days. With that being said, why would you want a wideband driver? Well, they're coherent, cohesive. Everything is cohesive. What they are able to play, you can say that about them. They're cohesive. What I feel they lack in often is the top and the bottom. I feel like you're going to make a sacrifice, and it's just not a sacrifice that I want to make. So, you know, Chuck, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. That is very kind of you. Means a lot. Thank you so much. Currently running Saga Plus and Ager through Klipschorns. Do you think swapping the Freya Plus and another Ager would be a step change? Yes. Absolutely I do. I do. No BS, no hyperbole. Every single time that I pull out the Agers and Shit Audio said I can have them for as long as I want, which for me is like, I'll talk to you in 23 years. I will take advantage of this. Thank you. But every single time that I pull out a second Ager, I'm always like, this is where it's at. This is a big difference. It's a surprising difference. And so, yes, is the answer. In regards to your other question, the Saga Plus versus the Freya Plus, probably a smaller step. I'm guessing, and I'm talking out of my arse right now. I'm being honest with you because I haven't spent time with the Saga, but I have a feeling that'll probably be a smaller change than adding a second Ager. I'm guessing based on what I've experienced, it's probably going to be a smaller change. So if it's one before the other, the second Ager, bro, all day long, all day long. Yes. What are the tonal differences between the Orderflow 2M red, blue, bronze, and black? Okay, well, I haven't spent time with the blue. The red is the worst of them, but it's very forgiving. It's some would call it lacking in the clarity and detail department, and they wouldn't be wrong. The 2M black is getting close to an MC cart in that there is a lot of clarity, but it's a bit of a diva in terms of setup. You've really got to be willing to dink around with azimuth and your rake angle. And so if your turntable has the ability to change that rake angle and the azimuth, then yeah, yes, that's a nice cart. The bronze, in my opinion, is a bit of a sleeper in that I think it's the closest to the black, and yet it still has some body to it. And I always thought of all of the 2M series, the bronze might actually be the real winner. I feel like it's giving you like 90% of the clarity, and then it's got like this body to it that is quite musical. I don't know how else to say it. It's musical. So yeah. So yeah. All right. What are the tonal? I just picked up a pair of Omegas. Holy crap, they're transparent sounding. The mid range is to die for. That is awesome. Hey, John, I already told you, not here. Like I'm being serious. Not here, okay? I respect your opinion, but no. John earlier was saying that like all VPI turntables have problems with their motors, and I'm just no they don't. It might have if there's a couple of problems here and there, sure, but let's not start throwing blanket statements. Like I if I haven't experienced it, and if anybody's experienced it, it'd be me. I've had an Avenger, I've had a Classic, I've set them up. I know. I'm telling you, there's no problems, none, zilch. Uh, when you do the Holophono review, could you compare to the Chinook, and if it's also worthwhile to step up from the shit phono? Yes, to a Chinook. Well, that's a little bit tricky. Um, I wonder if I could get in a Chinook to compare. And that's going to be an interesting comparison because we're not talking tubes, right? With the Holo audio stuff. Um, yeah, yeah. I'll, I now I want to spend time with the Chinook, so I'll see what I can do. With the shit phono, when they do get around with sending out the shit turntable, they did said they would send that as well. So at that point, I'll be able to weigh in and let you know. Have you seen the new Holo Audio preamp? Looks really interesting. Jordan, thank you for asking. Yes, I have. It's called the Serene, and it is on its way. It's on its way. So I'm going to be. It sounds like I'm going to be one of the first reviewers to actually spend time with it, and so um, I'm excited. I'm excited. So that'll be fun. That'll be cool. Let's just take a look here. What's your pick for best 10-inch subwoofers under $250? What I would be doing for subs under 250 is I would be on the hunt for probably used subwoofers. Um, I've had pretty good luck, believe it or not, at like thrift stores. You find a lot of subs there, and every now and then you might get lucky finding like an old Velodyne or something like that. That's probably what I would be doing. Um, if not that, I would be shopping at Emotiva. You're going to get a lot of bang for the buck for the Emotiva subs. That's probably where I would go. Talent MDS, are you open to your listeners sending you their rare equipment or do it yourself speakers instead of waiting for manufacturers? Yes, I am open to that. Absolutely. Hi-Fi Noob here. With limitations due to COVID, to go to trade shows, any recommendations on where to start to narrow down speaker type of. Hold on, let me read this again. With limitations due to COVID to go to trade shows, any recommendations on where to start to narrow down speaker type of what if sound preferences I may have? YouTube reviews, uh, I mean, that would be what I think we're kind of stuck with that right now, aren't we? I mean, there's just, at least in my area, I think it's one reason why I am working really hard at sound clips because I don't know how quickly this whole COVID thing is gonna kind of go back to normal and level out. And so um that's something that trying I'm trying my best to give you guys the best experience that I can. And so that's why I'm taking the sound clips even more seriously than I have in the past. So I recognize the need. I recognize the frustration. I feel your frustration and I'm trying to help you out. But to answer your question, I think YouTube is probably going to be your best bet is seeing what reviewers have to say and online reviews, things like that. Nice. I just ordered a Denafrips Athena a week ago. Then that Serene comes out. Oh well. Also got myself their new Apollo amp and Aries 2 DAC from them. Streaming from Lumen U1 U1 Mini. I'm excited. That is awesome. That's really cool, man. I'm excited for you. Ron, what CD players are you using for your reviews? I don't use a CD player. I use a Inuos Zenith, which is a media player. It's a computer. It's a supercomputer designed specifically for audio playback, and it does have a CD slot where it rips CDs and then stores them onto the computer. And so that's what I currently use. I have access to some CD players, but that's what I use. Ron and Randy's show is awesome. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Louie. I appreciate it. Steve Guttenberg chose the Deckware 2.5 watt tube amp as his 2020 component of the year. Are you interested in this amp, or is that too little power, do you think? Are you interested? Yes. 2.5 watts. Yeah, I could probably make that work. Yeah. Yeah. I think on the Audicas, that would probably, boy, 2.5 watts. That's interesting. You got me all flustered thinking about what I can do with 2.5 watts. I'm curious. Aaron's Audio Corner. Hey, if you guys aren't subscribed to Aaron, do that now. Aaron recently bought some medical devices and contraptions, and he's going to be doing procedures that involve medical equipment on his YouTube channel. I think that's what he bought, and it was like $100,000. I don't know what it does. And his neighbors have called me multiple times because they're really concerned about his mental health. They're like, dude, the guy's got some robots. He's making robots in his garage, is what Aaron does on his channel. To answer your question, this is not sponsored. And no, I don't even have any Cardis cables. This is a Cardis audio hat. And it's filthy right now because we've been gardening. My wife and I got a killer garden out in the backyard now. I should show it to you guys. It's totally awesome. And this hat was given to me at a show many years ago. It was the first time I met Angela Cardis. I walked into a room and the Ryan brothers from Ryan Speakers were there. And they were like, hey, Angela, have you met Ron? He makes YouTube videos and his mom really likes all of his videos. And it was embarrassing. And they all laughed at me. I was just the butt of the joke. And Angela felt so bad. She's like, here's a hat, Ron. Get out of here, kid. Run along. What's that? It is true. It totally is true. Yeah. It's actually true. Every single Facebook post that I do, my mom, there it is. Share 4848 AZ. Son, I'm so proud of you. This is awesome. Those speakers look fire, son. I'm like, Mom, stop it. Stop it. Oh, man. I've wondered about that hat for way too long. So now you know the story, Aaron. Yeah. Anyways. So, yeah. That is the story of the infamous Cardis audio hat. And I just like it. I wear it because it's comfy. And it's filthy. Makes me look real tough. It does not. My wife is laughing. That's how tough I look. Speaking of gifts, this was sent in by John. This is like one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten, ever, in the history of gifts. Okay, it's not that cool. I mean, I guess the gift of marriage for my wife was it's close, but you know. It says Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. And there's Obi hanging out. He's got his headphones, he's got a turntable, and he's listening to some speakers. I don't like the way he has a speaker set up. I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but I'll have a chat. I'll have a chat. Yeah, Aaron, I'm in some big trouble. I can promise you that. Guess what Dad's going to be doing tonight while Mom's out getting ice cream? Hanging out with the kids. and they're crazy. Send help. Send help, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Dude. You're all set up. You've done I think you did the Dutch. What is it? The Dutch and Dutch 8C. Is that the model? What's next for you? How quickly are you now ramping up? What's going on over at Aaron's Audio Corner? He does not have medical devices. So what he has is what's called a near field scanner by Klippel. And it's crazy. You need to see it. It's really wild. And I would love to just go there and geek out. And he has these time-lapse videos where it shows this thing it's taking measurements. It's a speaker measurement system that does near field scanning of the speaker in all different positions. These hand gestures are the exact way that it works, just so you know. And it gives what's called a spinorama, which is like a whole suite of different measurements, including on axis and then horizontal off axis, power response, and a whole bunch of other curves and listening windows and everything that you could ever imagine. And it's pretty wild. It's very cool stuff. And Aaron and I have actually been chatting about the possibility in the future of using that Klippel for some of my speakers, send them off to Aaron and have him tell me how wrong I am. Like, Ron, did you turn did you listen to this speaker? Because everything you said is complete. It's the exact opposite of what you just said. And I'll be like, I was just testing you, bro. I was just testing your medical equipment to make sure it works. But we've been talking about that, and that is certainly an intriguing idea that I am heavily contemplating, and I'm trying to work through that and think if that's something I want to do. Aaron just served it back to me in the comments section. He says, I want to do that anyway. I won't measure the speaker. I'll just mess with you. He'll make a video and be like, nah, it's the exact opposite of New Day Records over there. Mr. New Day Records with his Cardis, sponsored by Cardis Audio. I'm like, well, you didn't use the right cables, bro. Duh. So all right, we're getting off road. New Day Records, NDR. All right, we got a question coming in from John. Ron, Purify amp review soon. How does it compare with the Hypex Class D you reviewed last year and loved? To help listeners calibrate what Class A, B amp at the same price does it eclipse? I don't have a dedicated review for the Purify amps. I did ask Purify if they can send me another amp so I can spend more time with it. I'm not one of these YouTube reviewers or any kind of hi-fi reviewer that poo-poos Class D. I don't, because I've experienced enough over the years, starting with, some of the not so good ones way back in the day. And I've heard their progression and I've heard how much better they've gotten. And the Purify amp is a good example of Class D done right. And you want to know how it sounds? It sounds really freaking clean and transparent is how it sounds. And so, yeah, it's pretty insane and incredible. And I'm being distracted right now because my wife is about to. Never mind. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, sounds good. Take care, Aaron. Have fun. So, how does it sound? The Purify amp sounds fantastic. And what I like about the Purify amps and even the NC400 that I had for a long time, and I have quite a bit more experience with it, is they are very clean and transparent. And anything that you put in front of them seems to move them in whatever direction that you want to. And so as you experiment with different preamps and preamp options, it seems like you can kind of move things in some pretty interesting directions. So that's what I like about them so much. Very clear. Yeah, Kanga Empire was like, I know what was going on there. I got a lady. You almost drove yourself right into holy Fville. You backed out real quick. So yeah, are you still going to review the Holo Audio 2 DAC Spring 2 DAC? Yes, since it's being replaced. Yes, I am. I'm still going to review it. Absolutely. Here we go. Cheap Audio Man is asking, best affordable speaker with a paper woofer, gun to your head. Best speaker now. Too late. Too late. If you don't know this joke, it's because I think it was in our outtakes of the between two speakers that we did. Best affordable speaker with a paper cone driver. If you are willing to build it, and I hope you are, because you would learn a lot about building a speaker. I think that the Encore from GR Research paper cone driver, I'm telling you right now, that is very hard to beat. At that price, you got to level up to beat it. And that is just a great sounding speaker. It is all about texture and tone in mid bass and bass, and it can get down to boogie, mid 40s, somewhere in there. Has a nice roll off, really easy to integrate into a sub, and soft dome tweeter. It's a great one of my favorites. That would be my pick. Gun to the head. What would be your pick? If you're willing to build it, it would be an XLS Encore, hands down. If you want to get the boutique parts, go okay. If you don't, go with the stock. Either way, amazing value. Amazing. Scumbag M75. Yeah. That's true. That is true. Encore Basic or with upgrades, JMT enthusiast. I've listened to both. I've tried both, and both are an amazing value. I think that, the value does this one of the things, like, so here's your typical at that price point. The Encores are here. The Encore with the upgrades are like here. And the reason why I'm elevating my hand this way is it can continue to move up depending on everything else around it. So we go from here to here. And then if you upgrade to the boutique stuff, I genuinely feel, as crazy as you think I am, and I am crazy, so you're taking advice from a guy that just told you he's crazy. I think those parts absolutely make a difference. And I think that then it's now sliding upwards even more in terms of value, depending on what is around the speaker. What does your front end look like? What does your DAC look like? What are you doing in terms of speaker placement? All of those things I think make a big difference, in my opinion. So here we go. So you don't even need to hear me. Here's another crazy guy, Cabe Allen. I heard this guy is he's bonkers nuts. And he's telling you, built the Encores, full upgrades, absolutely love it. So 2 crazy guys just told you the Encores. I don't want to use Google. Is it neutral? And what's the sensitivity? Yes, it is neutral. Sensitivity, I want to say, I'll go look. I'll go look for you. You guys want to know a secret? Here's a secret. My best friend on the YouTube networks, it's Randy. I like that guy a lot. We get along. All right, here we go. Do a surf loudspeaker, XLS Encore. Boom, here we go. So $249 is for the base kit, so that gives you an idea. They also have CNC flat packs. CNC. perfect. They will be perfect, and they're selling them for $200. So if you want to bust out a table saw, if you know your way around a table saw, then you just save some money and you can go and buy, a sheet of, MDF and do all the work yourself. No problem. And let's just take a look here. Does he have the sensitivity listed on here? I thought he did. 80. I'm showing based on his measurements, 86, 87-ish dB. 86, 87 is what I'm showing. So kind of gives you an idea. So yeah. XLS Encore. It's freaking awesome. I have to sit off axis. The best solution I've come up with to maximize the sound stage is to push the speakers closer speaker further away. Other than balance control, am I missing another solution? No, you're not. There's nothing wrong with that. Kitty fences around the speaker affect the Encore's how? It does not. 77 dB. I think it's 87 dB, Randy. I believe 87 dB. I don't think it'd be, if it's 77 dB, that's not a very sensitive speaker. That's not. If you hear a blow dryer in the background, I don't know if that's coming through on the mic. It'll be over in just a moment. Uno momento. I have the GR Research Ecstatic. Very happy with them. Better than the Tannoy Evolution 8s. That is great. That's what we want to hear. That's awesome. Yeah, man, Ecstatics. That's a speaker I really want to spend time with. For sure. Hi, Ron. How are you? I'm doing good. Welcome to the live chat. I just want to ask about your opinion regarding filter protection cable and cable lifters. Thank you, Ron. Filter protection power. Cable lifters. I use my kids for that. Like, hey, Elliot, hold this cable up for daddy real quick so I can move something under it. I think that's what you're talking about. I could FedEx Elliot over to you. He's a great kid. I mean, he's really helpful. Like he'll hold that cable up for you for as long as you want. So that's my thoughts on cable lifters. Use Elliot. Yeah. Filter protection power. I don't use anything. My wife is letting me know that we are unable at this time to FedEx our son. At this time, but we'll circle back around to that idea. When he's 13, you're gonna have to pay for shipping at that point. He eats a lot. He's gonna be a big kid. Filter protection power. I've messed with it. I've only messed with the cheap stuff, and I felt like if anything, it moved things in the wrong direction in terms of dynamics and slam. I had this stupid little Belkin power center, and I was convinced, like, it moved everything in the wrong direction. And I don't know. I need somebody smart to tell me why that would be. I didn't like it. And so I don't know. I don't know if as we move up the chain into, higher priced units, if things, I don't know. I just haven't experienced it. I don't know. Dyne Audio Contour 20i or Totem Acoustic Element Fire V2 if you had to pick. Michael, I wish I could answer your question, but I haven't spent time with either speaker, so I don't know. I have longed for the opportunity to hear a Totem acoustic speaker, and I have never had the chance because they don't work with reviewers. I hate to say it, but I think that's all of us reviewers at one point or another chat with each other and we try to help each other out. We all like, hey, anybody got a contact for this or that, or how can I help you and open the door for you? Totem, they just don't they just don't market this way, and that's a shame. It's a shame. I know that Jay recently experienced this from Next Best Thing Studio, and he just bought a pair because he's like, I'm sick and tired of them not sending me something, so I'm just gonna buy a pair, and so that's what he did. So I think I'm gonna call Jay tonight and ask him, hey, can you buy me a pair? Like, can we? Hey Jay, I'm calling you out. Will you buy me a pair of totems, please? I'll trade you Elliot for totems. I keep trying to get my kid away. I would miss Elliot. We're best friends. He's so awesome. He's so cool. All right. Let's just take a look here. Size room would be needed for something like the GR and Exoticas. I love that tall format tower. Yes, you do need quite a bit of real estate. Whenever I have those out on the dance floor, I pull them way out into the room. 6 feet into the room, not a problem. Sometimes 7 feet. I get them deep into the room, and it seems like the more room you give them to breathe, the more they reward you. It's pretty amazing what those things can do. Any experience with Wharfdale Lintons? No, but I want to. I want to experience the Wharfdale stuff. I would love to make that happen. How would you describe their sound signature? I can guess vintage based on what I know. Kind of a vintage type, bloomy. I'm willing to bet the Lintons sound like this. Big bottom, mid bass is going to be a little bit bloomy, and mid range is going to be full bodied, and upper mid range is going to be smooth, and top end is not going to be forward or bright. I have a feeling that's probably how they sound. I'll bet you I'm wrong. All right, here we go. How about audiophile IEC power cables? Have you A/B listened to the differences? I have tried to listen to the differences, and I continue to experiment with those cables. And it's a very toxic conversation to get into as a YouTube reviewer. And anytime I do, they lose their mind. And so I'll continue to experiment. That's what I will tell you right now. And maybe take you along for the ride with some of those experiments down the road. I've got some ideas coming up. I've got some interesting ideas. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, Ron, what do you think of the tone controls such as the Shit Loki Mini? Shit Loki Mini. I know which one you're thinking of. The little passive EQ. Yeah, sure. Try it. Give it a go. I've wanted to mess with one, so why not? You never know. It'd be fun. Oh, Ron, those tribes are something else. I wonder if I can scope the right link for Totem. They are only like 5 hours away from me. King Empire, you make the phone calls, my friend. You let me know. Ron at New Record Day. If you can get somebody on the line, be like, hey, Ron from New Record Day, from New Day Records, wants to review your stuff. If you can make it happen, I'd be a happy man. If you had to choose between Sabrina and Concept 500, which would you choose to keep? That's a tough one. That's a tough one because they share a lot of the same strength. Sabrina hits harder and hits lower. So that's going to be +1 for Sabrina. Neither of those speakers, from what I remember, Concept 500, I don't hear any resonance. No effects of resonance from the speaker. Sabrina, I don't remember hearing any effects from resonance, cabinet walls, things like that. Both are very clean. Both are very good. Both stage really well. It's close. And the fact that it's close says something about the Concept 500s, because you know what the Concept 500s aren't? they're not $15,000, and the Sabrinas are. So, do we have a value king in that fight? Yeah, we do, because it's really close. It's a tough one. That one makes me very uncomfortable. Eric Burnson says Sabrina is the best speaker ever made. He's wrong. It's not. But it's a very good speaker. It's very good. That is a great sounding loudspeaker. Not the best ever made, but it's very good. I would concur with your guess on how the Lintons sound. However, most reviews on them don't describe the signature in simple terms. They just describe how certain songs sound. Well, that's too bad. I'll see what I can do, Camille, about getting in a pair of Lintons, and we'll do a proper review in our D style, and I'll tell you exactly how they sound. I'll see what I can do. What is your go-to recommendation for an integrated amplifier for around $1,000? Rogue Sphinx would be up there. I like that little integrated amp quite a bit. I think that's going to be probably my top pick for a integrated amp around $1,000 is going to be a Rogue Sphinx. You have a tube preamp and you have solid state Hypex Class D output. That's probably going to be my pick at $1,000, probably. And I like how versatile it is. It's not one of these integrated amps that can only, bring on the muscle, sometimes. It's a good all-arounder. So take that into consideration at least. I like to see you evaluate the GR Research speaker and power cables. Eric, I don't know if that will happen. I'm not sure, man. I've done speaker cables and power cord reviews way in the past, a long time ago. Let me lean over and give my daughter a hug. Hold on. What, baby? You want me to put you to bed? Okay. Hey, Mr. Ellis. How about this? Put you to bed, and then change battery pack. Oh, you know what? I think we should end it. Hour and 17 minutes. I gotta put the kids to bed. Anyways, and my battery pack is about to die because and there's Natalie. I'm being attacked by kiddos. All right, guys. Hey, thank you for supporting New Record Day. Thank you for watching my videos. And thank you. Life as a dad. All right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.